Going into 23. So it means Gift was 19, going to 20. We were pretty much kids. And mangithi ngishaya rewind, asiyazi into besiyenza. Besicabanga ukuthi siyayazi. But we took people with us. There were kids that had just been signed by the club at the time that saw me and Gift as cool. And it didn't help that Gift was the more popular figure in the group, the two-group alcohol band that we formed. Actually, the umkholo wonke, so we'd arrive at the ATM from 5 to 12. And Gift would make his famous phone call of pressuring the Orlando Pirates financial manager and press him hard. And failing, he would call the chairman himself. And I'm talking 10 to 5 to 12 ebusuku. Before we know it, imali ingenile and mangena sidonsa yonke. His was not a lot, looking back. Bekaqaphuna nakuleya because it's Gift Leremi. I loved him to death. And I didn't see anything wrong if he had ran a bill at an unceremonious venue, yokuphuza utshwala, and the bill is 7K. He can't take 7K out of his mega salary he got. Yeah, beyiphuma kamampela. Ingene back in school back in Orlando Pirates. Siphile njengama-basketball ase-USA. Sinemali. So we are talking, I'll mention mine. I was on 27,000 at the club at the time. I'm 22. So 27,000 and his small salary, that is just over 9,000 in one backpack. And it would last us a good 6-7 days. If we are lucky. If we are not very lucky, 4 days is good. Don't ask me what we did with it, we don't know. When you're 23 and you're playing for a big club, you have a child, he has 2 at the time, I've got 1 small child, Nachi was 2. Nachi's doing his matric now. Responsibility, I'm not even sure what that is. At that time, I'm thinking, as long as I'm anapkeni, as long as I'm a Cyrilek, or an entogudla, sizobona. I'm talking pressures, so daycare would have to phone the club. Places we lived in would need to phone the club. How can you patala badlali? Umphathi wemali adakudala bahola labo bantu. But it was never about family. It was never about changing impilo yefamily yakhe or looking after things that he needed. No, it was about him and it was about me. And we took a lot of beating. We took a lot of beating from the people we lived in, the people we were married to, and 1 + 1 = 2. It ends up in divorce, it ends up in splits, and sadly for him, it ended up in a permanent divorce with life. And yeah, we learned. I hope he learned. I hope he hears me, but I learned. I definitely learned a lot.
Okay, Kamala Sjuku, Wala Wala, Wamabulavala, Mfana Kacheku, Mfana today, King of Ilopono. Okay, we did two festival to enjoy game, but I'm Satal Corner, Central Orange Farm. I understand. But the stars are corners everywhere. How thing go, Pimpumalanga, go, Pibang Pet, Bangas, Nabon, have a nice jing ice. Uncle Mutuming Tabel, Mtana today, Wanakachi, that's why Mawala Walang flying away.
Bakuthiwa kunama-soccer player
bekabalandela ke
nazo baphethe and uzokhuluma amaqiniso. That's why ngisho ukuthi ibhalansi namhlanje izokuhlanyisa yini ekuhlanganise nama-soccer player, and I know ukuthi one of them uKhune was probably one of your best friends and so on. We'll delve into irole oyidlalile wena kubona, but yini ebekuhlanganisa nama-player?
Yazi, to be honest, Darop, ngizokutshela iqiniso ne angithi mina ngibuye egazi.
Sure.
Amajita abuya kuphi kuphi.
Yeah.
Amajita awayazi igazi. Afuna that guy uqava igasi.
Yes.
That guy uqava ini ichi. That guy uqava 1 2 3.
Yeah.
So amajita only thing that they want bafuna ukuthi babonisa abantwana ishisa nyama utshwala. Mengazi business man ukukhula kwabona. Abantu abafana nabo Gerald ngisabana hola imali encane. So mina ngihlakaniphile angithi dala ngihlakaniphile na 9 I think. So I think mengiqala ngi16 years old bese ngihlakaniphe more ukudlula wonke ama-soccer player because most of the time ngokuthola ukuthi ngivela ama-close friends wami la wabuya lebule bakhumu Fenterstop letlapa la thunya yabona laba babuyela impope badla isampani badla yini kuna le papa lele balidla kanje bathatha ngibabonisa ukuthi akusadliwa lento leni sekubanjwe i-fork and knife manje. So abo Gerald bekama-players esowethu angaziyo vele dala vele ngaduma njengepizza ngiyi-deponés for every soccer player because ama-soccer player vele awekho mnandi ngabantwana. So in order soccer player ithola umntana you need a guy like me mina ngihlale ku-left yimi engikhulumayo. You understand? Uyazi nawe leyo nto leyo because if mungahambi nomuntu oku-left wona munye ukhona ukuzikhulumela. So mina confident khona into ekimi ngizalwa nayo umntana emakoloyi yena isipani sakho untanga lo ngihamba naye angithi vele wonke ama-soccer player athanda ithi lento le ama-automatic.
Isho ithi igama nesibongo.
Wonke ama-soccer player athanda ama-automatic.
Mara negama nesibongo.
So wonke ama-soccer player athanda ama-automatic. So usually mina ithi mina brika uyabrika ngiceda lapho love okay mama mona sheba from today kimthwako tlola talite simlande late ugel. So most of the time I'm a player but mina mengahambi nama-players esowethu man bacawuthi bahlakaniphile. So nami ngibuye esowethu but ngihlakaniphile. So lawa sesowethu yiwo lawa manje ukuthi ahlakaniphile. So ngabona kahle ukuthi yazini mina athi ngiblomela laba Fenterstop libakhumu what Natal kuphi because why mina ngibuye esowethu yimi ngibafundisa amakhono bayazi baningi bayazi makhona abanye bashadile namhlanje yimi abanye banama-girlfriend ba-divorced yimi but laba sesowethu mengablomela nabo kakhulu because ngingazi ukuthi what they do bazakhela ama-backroom emuva then bayazi mebabuya after ball bazobuyela lapho. So laba babuyele emaplazini umuntu ohlala ethanawuzini umbona ahlala ethanawuzini mekade warix kinyakare high mufika kubo umuntu wakhe indlu elingana ne-Rain Stadium. Most amajita abuya kude lebo kuphi Petersburg kai bazodlala amathima la they think
sebefikile
la ukuthi bayabona ukuthi akusafani manje. So amajita akhawutekayo wonke adlala i-disc ila majita lawa like us. You understand? As much as usho ukuthi mina iskimo ukhune till this day ukhune usasha ngefocus because uyacaba ukuthi if zishuba anyeke ahlale eBramfontein elabuyile kuphi Fenterstop. Awumngana mokuqala uThusophala sazana ngama-dice vele Thusophala mina athanda ama-dice kabuhlungu kabi athanda ama-dice. Thusophala uthe meka signa ne-Chiefs wangazisa uyitumele mkhuni wangithanda wangithanda mana uthi khune lapho mekadom aqeda ukuthenga imoto
So umuntu makakuthanda udom
angithi uyeli bakhoma angithi ngiyifunde eli ukuthi laba babuya kuphi esowethu sibaqala bahlaniphile khune wangithanda ukufune wadaman afithu ekuratile man ethuso nalithumtse ngata batla wena iblomelelo wena mbinjaka kakayibile nakhe mnathi kabanyana angithi understand ukuthi kusekazi mnathi kabanyana ke mnathi kalikhona ngikimi inja yami khune kwaba inja yami ke but till this day makuthusophala kusese inja yami. So the first friend yami ukuthusophala
ukhune kusasempintshako
sesibadala manje ushadile angeke sathi sabangani
akusasempintshako
asicabananga
ni sharp
mnandi but uyazi naye la khona ushadile ngeba yimi ngabe ngasime kanye kashade
nalo mfazi ashade naye
lo ashade naye manje ukhulunyelwe yimi uyazi naye
lo bekathandana naye
lo ashade naye manje.
Okay
landa utshwala landa ama-chair then next week bayabuya futhi bethi yazini siyadlala this weekend but Friday sifuna ukubushaya sifuna ama-chair but instruction ukuthi ungababuyisi laba last week kuthiwa yini le nto njenge-substitution ukuthi ungasiletheli lesi skingi sa last week.
Karob angeke ubatshele muzoba njalo tshela kanjalo uzosala next week enye
but abathanda ukuphinda
watshela kanjalo wathi bafita asirelaxeni kube yithi uyasala next week.
Umlungisi since I found out today on the show ukuthi igama lakhe Umlungisi, it's a very nice name. Pity he didn't live up to it. Just before I joined Orlando Pirates, when you are a young football star growing up in Soweto, those are some of the things you hear that go on when you play for Chiefs and Pirates. You can't just hang with anyone. I'll tell you petrol noma gopi, I'll tell you ukudla noma gopi, because it might just create some sort of controversy. That is why you don't bump into the two clubs players noma kanjani. It becomes some sort of exclusive invite that you didn't plan for when you bump into him at Spa and stuff like that. So Sjuku had placed himself, I don't know how, as the go-to guy for the coolest parties. And later on you realize, I began to party yakhe. Be a party somewhere, why bulldozer, but he did what he did well. Now, luckily, with his own confession, some got married, some got divorced. He gave you what was called the coolest chick, or chicks, because I don't remember seeing him with a dark woman. But he recycled them well as well. Anganiga mina, and then the next day, the very same Montogo David Opua. And he's laughing about it. It's funny, but hey, that is the man you call Mlungisi today. Back then he was Sjuku, the king of yellow pots. We faffed around him. A lot of us did. I don't know if he knew it, but he was so big that he didn't care which soccer player was around him. But he was guaranteed he had about 8 or 9 of us. We're talking other players he didn't mention, legends that came after Tina, that played with Itumeleng Khune that he speaks about, followed him. Amakrotman, angwazi ukwabiza ngamagama, mara eliwani belihlala emlethana.
Wangalibiza.
Belila. Phambi kwakhe ngizibuza ngithi, eKrotman noSjuku, kanti into enjani?
Usho tsikitsiki.
eKrotman uThabo ya.
Sharp.
Umbizile eKrotman asinaki iSjuku. Injalo lento. So if big footballers that we looked up to growing up in Soweto were following uSjuku around, ngubani mina? Engizohlala ekhoneni ngihola imali encane, as he says. He didn't even know my salary at the time. He thought incane because uhamba nabantu acabanga ukuthi bahola imali enkulu. But hey, if beyincane, I'm not married today. Unesandla lapho ukuthi wayengashadanga namhlanje. So I understand ukuthi la salary amancane uwazelaphi, because bekanganandaba ne-payslip, bekanendaba nokumosha or nokulungisa, as his name says, is imlungisi.